the jiu-jitsu sport is like not nearly as organized as MMA. MMA is a little bit more organized to where, again, I would say, well, only a small percentage of the guys lift weights. They don't really lift anything heavy. Only a small percentage of them do like mobility work, except for like the high level guys. Even the high level guys, they're limber or flexible or mobile or whatever you want to call it.
Sometimes they're stiff as fuck. They're still monsters.
Right. But most of them, it's because they learned that movement when they were kids. So in other words, like I see the difference. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I see it because I've seen some of the high level jiu-jitsu guys that are like, in the early 20s, 20, 21, like 19, but they started when they were 12. Dude, they do stuff that's like, yo, like, come on, man. Like this, I trained with this guy, Tractor, Vinicius, whatever. Guy's 240, but the guy does the splits like, and I'm talking like splits, not like, oh, I'm flexible. No, like I'm limber.
Yeah.
And I have control over my it's literal mobility.
Perceived safety.
Perceived safety, yeah, strong. But like it throws you off because it's like, how are you this big? And I even asked him, I'm like, Joe, did you do it? He's like, no, I just been doing jiu-jitsu.
Move.
Yeah, I've been doing exactly. Always move. Yeah.
Now grab the opposite. Grab a 28-year-old guy who just starts jiu-jitsu.
All limited.
Super limited, but somehow he's able to invert. Because there's a difference between active range of motion and passive range of motion, right?
Right.
I can take myself somewhere comfortably. Right. It's different when somebody's fucking smashing me into that position. So a lot of it becomes like this mass, like skill thing. Like, oh, I can eat this position. I can't be there, right? So you get some dudes that are like, they just started jujitsu and they can be in a position, like while they do jujitsu. Take them out of doing jujitsu and put them in the position. They can't be there. And you're like, well, how the fuck? Well, it's because they had a 200-pound man on top of them, crushing them into that position. And that's why they're always like, dude, my fucking back is lit up. Yeah. My fucking neck hurts. My shoulder hurts.
Well, I had that problem because I was very, I didn't have any type of flexibility. And then I went yoga heavy, so I got super flexible. And then when I got super flexible, what ended up happening is that I was able to then, like my leg would go almost behind my head. The problem with that is exactly what you just said. I weigh 200 pounds. So most of the guys that I train with are between like 180 and like 230. When a 200-pound guy stacks you, it's uncomfortable. Yeah. And so what was happening was my leg was able to do it, but the force had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Force had to go somewhere. And so all of a sudden I'm like,
lumbar locked, baby.
Yeah.
Lumbar locked.
Exactly. So in my mind I was like, yo, why is my back bothering me? And it was just, I had to cut yoga out for a little while. And then I toned it back tremendously. Then I started working on mobility, which is active range of motion. So I'm like, okay, this is better. So I'm not nearly as limber, not nearly as flexible.
You get there without taking a fucking punishment.
Without taking punishment. Because then all of a sudden, it was like I was after I'd done heavy training. I get up and I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking move.
No, dude, there's nothing like
the worst.
Like me, like I'm only 135 pounds. There's nobody in my gym 135 pounds. So I only grapple 155, 160, 200, 180, whatever. Everybody outweighs me by like 30 pounds.
Right. Everybody's bigger than me.
So I come out feeling like a sandwich being made at Subway. And somebody would just like run that shit through the garden. You know, like fucking put everything on it, fucking toast that shit, come out and you're fucking flat and destroyed. Right? So that's, and I'm pretty mobile. Like I can move really, really well on the floor, but I have my issues. I've been in a car accident, so my back's already kind of banged up. So you feel like fucking issues here and there, and it just comes down to like, you just got to learn to maybe sometimes avoid positions or listen to your body. Maybe not train that fucking day, right? If you're really fucking banged up, maybe you got to, or just drill. Not train completely, but go drill a little bit and then avoid craving of rolling.
Yeah, that's another thing too, that a lot of the combat sports guys is the addiction of the high that you get from training. It's like sometimes they don't want to listen to the body, especially when they're younger too. And it's, I remember when I was 21, man, it's like your ego, I wouldn't say it is ego, but like it's your testosterone, man. You want to smash. You're like, you want to get punched in the face. I remember when I was doing a lot of striking, there's like a point where you almost get like I wouldn't say aroused, but like excited when someone punches you in the face, because you just go, they punch you in the face and you go, that's it? That's it? And then you're like, oh, I could eat this punch. I'm gonna crush this guy's face. And so, and that's the mindset that a lot of the grapplers have. But then what ends up happening is that they overdo it.
And you get banged up.
And then you get banged up, and then you get hurt, and then you get injured. And that's where, like now that I've been doing jiu-jitsu long enough now, not that the actual rolling is important, but it's not nearly as important as it used to be. Because it goes back to what you said at the very beginning. It's skill set. And so like now I would say I train right now between 4 and 6 days a week. I would say it's only one day where I do
Like hard rolls.
just hard rolls.
Yeah.
The other 4 to 5 days, I'm doing drilling, I'm taking class, and if I do situational, it's specific situation where I'm doing a max of 2 minutes, and I'm picking the person who I'm going with.
Yeah, you have to have good partners, right?
Yeah.
It comes down to, I remember my coach telling me you always have to have 3 partners. You have to have one that you can just crush,
Right,
like do whatever you want. You have to have one that you're kind of even with,
right.
and then you have to have one that kills you. Right? You have to have one guy that just fucking manhandles you, because that's how you learn, right?
That's
You
how you
learn
learn,
to
yeah.
fucking get out. So for me, I feel like on from my own perspective, I feel like I always learn more from like flow rolling. And I mean like actual flow rolling, not the guy at the gym who's like, yo, you want to foam?
Yeah,
roll?
the actual flow. Yeah.
Like actual.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you liked that clip. And if you'd like to see another clip, please go here. Or if you'd like to watch the full episode, you can also go here.